In these technical videos, we'll look at how to animate the Anibot using Autodesk Maya. One of the things to do before you start animating, before you open the scene, is to set your project correctly. I'll choose File and go down to Set Project. I've created a project called Express Yourself, and in there are the default Maya folders for things we need. Scenes are where all the scenes are. Any textures will be in source images. We'll preview out movies or play blast them to the Movies directory. Renderings will go into the Images directory. Autosaves will go into Autosaves, and so forth. The idea is to set the project first and then open the scene. Once you hit Set, Maya will browse automatically to the Scenes folder in that directory. By clicking on Open, we can see a scene in here, the rig intro. If you're using 2010 or later, you can check Ignore Version when opening files, and these should open nicely as they're Maya ASCIIs. I'd also like to talk about workflow. Right now, you can see I've got the full Maya UI open, and my viewport is actually quite small. When I work, I'll often press Control Spacebar and go into Expert mode. I'll press Control Spacebar to come back out of it. The hotbox is also fairly big. What I'll do is to customize this hotbox, pressing and holding the spacebar for the hotbox, and choosing Hotbox Controls, Show Animation, Animation Only. In this case, it gives me just the Animation menu, plus the File menu at the top, and the View menu. This lets me get around a little quicker, and shows me just the tools I need. I'll use my marking menus, pressing and holding Shift and right-click, for example, to create objects. Once I've got something created, the marking menu will change. Shift and right-click in this case produces a modeling marking menu. Control and right-click produces a selection marking menu, and pressing a hotkey plus left-clicking produces the marking menu for that tool. As an example, pressing and holding W and left-clicking anywhere produces the marking menu for the Move tool. It's important to keep your tools close at hand. What I'll do, if I don't go into Expert mode by pressing Control Spacebar, is to minimize some of the UI, taking out the parts that I don't need immediately. I'll press and hold the spacebar for the hotbox and click in the space to the right of Maya. In here are my UI elements. Often I'll turn off the shelf, and that frees up a good amount of viewport. I'll press and hold it again, and sometimes I'll turn off the help line, leaving the command line on. If I'm modeling, I'll turn off the time slider and range slider. In these videos we'll be animating, so we want to leave those on. I like to have the status line up on the top, as it shows me my snap settings, components, and has my menu line input with X, Y, and Z fields. I'll leave the toolbox on for these videos, so you can see which tool I'm using, move, rotate, scale, and so forth. Finally, I'll use Control-A to toggle back and forth between the channel box and the attribute editor, depending on what I need to access. Now that we've got some workflow established and we've set the project, let's get started animating the Anibot.